Dear children, autotrophic nutrition, a kind of nutrition, a form of supplying food to the organism without depending without depending self getting nutrients is called autotrophic nutrition. What are the examples for this? All plants are the examples for this. All plants. Is only plants? We can also include some more microorganisms. Yes, it is real. Not only the plants which are visible to us, which are green and visible to us, there are so many microorganisms which can synthesize their own food by following this autotrophic nutrition. There are so many photosynthetic bacteria called photosynthetic bacteria. I am using this. They can prepare their own food. There are some algae living in water. They can also synthesize, but not all algae, but not all bacteria. So, the important example for autotrophic nutrition is plants. And some more advanced things are also there, like photosynthetic bacteria and algae are there. So, how it is possible for plants or these microorganisms to prepare their own food? They depend on the naturally available things, sunlight, water, and the carbon dioxide, and provide their own nutrients. Prepare their own nutrients by a process called, depending on light, the process called photosynthesis. So by this process called photosynthesis, they are preparing food. Yes, sir. That prepared food is taken by all the other organisms. If you want to get any food item, we depend directly or indirectly on plants only. Is it or not? Any kind of food. If you want to eat a leafy vegetable plant, rice, potatoes, any vegetable, any fruit, if you want to go for a meat, fish, it is not a plant. But for survival of that animal, it should depend on plants again. Fishes depend on small algae or small plants living in the water. Hen depending on the food grains coming from plants. So every animal depends directly or indirectly on plants which prepare their own food by a process called photosynthesis. So plants and the process of photosynthesis makes every other organisms to live. So that's why we call plants as universal food providers. So here we can construct two simple questions. Which are called universal food providers? The answer is plants. Which process is called universal food providing process? Providers, providing process. What is universal food providing process? Your answer must be photosynthesis. What are universal food providers? Plants. So this is about the basic information about one kind of nutrition, one category of nutrition called autotrophic nutrition. Yes, dear children. Now come to how this is possible. The first lesson called nutrition has two parts. Autotrophic nutrition, it runs for some topics, and then we start the heterotrophic. So the discussion is completely about autotrophic first. So plants are called universal food providers, and the process photosynthesis called universal food providing process. Now come to know how it is possible. Photosynthesis, which makes the plants an universal food providers, and photosynthesis is a process used for autotrophic nutrition to prepare their self food. Now what are the factors required for photosynthesis done by plants? Because plants are doing photosynthesis. What are the raw materials, the basic materials what are needed for photosynthesis? We are unable to do photosynthesis. Plants can able to do photosynthesis. What plants are getting from nature? Yes, you know the list of raw materials. There is an important question here. What are the raw materials? Raw materials are factors for photosynthesis. The important raw materials are, you know that first one, sunlight. Second one, carbon dioxide. And next, water. And finally, chloroplast or chlorophyll. So these are the basic factors or raw materials of photosynthesis. It's an important question also. So what are the raw materials or factors of photosynthesis? Let us compare with the plant and animal, autotrophic and heterotrophic. We can also take sunlight by standing in a lighted area, sunlighted area. We can also take carbon dioxide from air. We can also drink water, but we cannot prepare our own food because we doesn't have an important factor that is called chloroplast in animals. Chloroplast, a green colored structure, green colored cell organelle. You came to know in the previous standard 9th class. The green colored cell organelle present only in plant cells, only in plant cells, plant body is called chloroplast, which makes us to take all these things to prepare their own nutrients called food. We doesn't have this last important factor called chloroplast. We can also take all these three, sunlight, carbon dioxide and water like plants. But we doesn't have an important structure called chloroplast to convert, to accept these three to convert into a food, a nutrient called a chemical energy called food material. So the important factors. From where they are getting? Raw materials, and from where they are getting? Sunlight from the nature, carbon dioxide from atmosphere the present around, and water from the ground levels, and chloroplast is present inside the plant itself. So these are the factors. Some are coming from outside, carbon dioxide, sunlight, water are coming from outside, and chloroplast is present inside itself. That's why the factors are again classified into external factors. External factor. What is external factor? Means the factor which is coming from outside, which is not there inside already. That is called external factor. And the chloroplast, it no need to bring from outside like sunlight, carbon dioxide or water. Chloroplast or chlorophyll is present. Chlorophyll is a pigment, you know well. Chloroplast is a cell organelle, a cell structure, and chlorophyll is a pigment present in that. Understand it, children? We have a great discussion about these things in the further sessions. So the chloroplast with chlorophyll is present within the plant body itself. No need to bring it from outside. So it is not an external factor. It is called internal factor. It is called as internal factors. So once again we can elaborate the question here. What are the factors of photosynthesis? How can you classify them? From where they are getting? Factors of photosynthesis, from where they are getting, you know, and how they are classified into two different external factors and internal factors. Here we need to know one thing. The people don't know that how plants are taking all these materials and how they are converting. The great work of scientists. There is a list of many important scientists in this chapter 1 who worked out to know about how the plants are taking different things. The photosynthesis is not a process, not an equation which is derived within 1 year or 2 years. It is a work of 300 years to know about these factors for the scientists. They have worked for 200 years to construct a formula for photosynthesis. So in the next session we will continue with what are the scientists' work, what are the different scientists, different levels of knowing about photosynthesis, who are those. Some scientists gave importance about sunlight, some about carbon dioxide, some gave about water, some about chlorophyll, the micro things, chloroplast and chlorophyll. It will be identified with the help of microscope only. So in the next session, we will go with the scientist work behind this a great phenomena, universal food providing phenomena process called photosynthesis.